Happy lunch hour, guys. All right, so it's Monday noon and it's a financial bloodbath today. Not a big surprise. It's kind of funny reading the comments on this morning's video, and all the trolls and wackos and investment illiterates were, of course, making comments all over the place. You know, you had to have those, I made 10% or, $10,000 a week and whatever. Okay. Let's have a dose of reality here. The market's getting hammered. We know that. Okay, we're down about 700 points on the Dow. Morgan Stanley is calling for the S&P to drop to 3,400. That's another 10% from here. We're at 3,784 right now, so that's another 3,700 points. Okay. Uh, you know, Bitcoin is getting blistered, but hey, it's a value, 23,000 now, down 17.5% this morning. And I love all the people who come up and go, well, my Bitcoin's still worth $23,000. Yeah, it is. Where'd you buy it? 30, 40, 50, 60? Don't tell me you're one of these people. I bought it when it was $7. Right. You bought it when it's $7 and you didn't sell it at 30, 40, 50, 60,000. Sorry, I've been around investors my entire life. You lock in profits. Okay. Nothing goes to the moon. Okay, so yeah, I can pretty much tell you that anybody and everybody who holds Bitcoin right now has some at a loss. All right, so they're losing that. The people, if there are any people back who have it from the beginning, they're not exactly what I'd call intelligent. Bitcoin was never a buy and hold investment. So, of course, people will say, well, what about gold? What about silver? You've talked about that all the time. Okay, gold is literally at a zero, exactly where it was within pennies on January 1st. Okay. So you haven't lost money, you haven't made money. Okay. I'll give you that. The only loss you have on your gold right now is to inflation, which isn't good. Silver's down about 5% since the beginning of the year. Okay. Not exactly what I'd call enjoyable to hear. However, if you had money in the stock market, you're down well over 20%. So, you got to put your money somewhere. If you've left your money under the mattress, okay, you've got 0%. And again, like gold, you've lost to inflation. That's it. All right, to each his own. But I get a kick out of, somebody says, "Oh, you need to educate yourself more on Bitcoin." Yeah, right. Okay, sure. No problem there, buddy. Yeah, I'm just completely clueless. Been saying for how long not to invest in Bitcoin because it's going in the toilet? Who would be the clueless one? It ain't gonna be me. Tell you that. So this runs into the catch is, what do I do with my money? And what's going to happen going forward? Remember the plan from the World Economic Forum, the Democratic Socialists, the I want to be a communist government all over the world is to bankrupt the world. Okay, this is it. Let's, borrow money like crazy that we know we're never going to pay back. Let's just all bankrupt all the countries and everything like that we can do. And then we'll do the Great Reset, and everybody will be back at zero, except for the individual. The one thing I will guarantee you is that your loans will not be forgiven in any sort of Great Reset. The governments might be, but what you borrowed individually will not. This is why I keep saying get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt. Because when 0 hour finally hits, what you own is what you own. What you don't own is now subject to, gee, we're going to take this from you. Again, I go back to the old Simpsons episode with Satan Claus, the dog, and the credit card, and repossessing everything. You're gonna see something like that eventually with what's going on if it ain't paid for, or if you can't continue to pay for it, because those banks, those lenders, everything, they aren't government either. They want their money back. And if the government starts bailing out these banks and saying, oh, we're going to take over Bank of America, or we're going to take over JP Morgan Chase, or whatever it is, we're going to take over Citibank, the government's going to want, the new world government is going to want those assets, and they're going to take them from you too, unless you own them. And then again, they could still try to take them. Okay, it'd just be a different route. They may go eminent domain or whatever, which of course will lead everything to utter chaos in the world. But so that brings us to this. What do you do with your money at this point? And that becomes a very sticky situation. This is why I keep saying gold and silver in the physical form, because that you hold, that will always have value. And I know people are going to tell me, we see it every time I mention gold and silver. Oh, you can throw gold and silver in the street, yada yada, won't buy a loaf of bread, it's biblical. Okay. Fine. You say what you want to say, that's fine. I'm going to say something different. But give me a better suggestion for where to put my money right now. Real estate, it'd be the other thing I'd see. However, like somebody asked in a video or in a live stream one time, my family owns real estate states away. No, okay, unless you own the property immediately around you that you can take care of and keep track of. Owning a property 2 states, 2 counties away, it doesn't do any good. Somebody else is just going to start squatting on it, and then you've got legal problems like that. So unless it's right around you, unless you can increase the size of your property, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Gold and silver, of course, is physical, and you can take it with you. That will be the only thing that is worth having in the future. Sure, buy your food, buy your tools, buy fuel, buy anything like that. Absolutely. Those tangible items before this all falls apart, yes, that is definitely priority number one. I would never suggest anybody buy precious metals until the rest of their personal infrastructure is taken care of. They have their food taken care of, their power taken care of, their heat taken care of, their water taken care of. That's when you start looking at precious metals, when you've got, I don't want to say excess wealth, but when you've got more wealth than makes sense to put into food or any of your tangible items. I mean, because you have to remember this, guys, and this is what nobody ever talks about. I've mentioned it a couple of times. Everybody always talks about going into SHTF and what you're going to do during SHTF. What happens when everything finally ends? And whatever it would be. When a government is overthrown, when a economic recovery begins, after everything, when the fallout is all gone, whatever. Life has to start again. And there's going to need to be something of value to trade and barter with. Okay, it's going to be very difficult to trade somebody enough cans of beans to buy 40 acres somewhere. You're going to have something. So keep an eye on the financial world. It's a mess today. And just as I'm doing this, we're now down 768 points on the Dow. NASDAQ's down 450. And we haven't even got to the Fed meeting yet. That's going to happen here Wednesday. And there's now talk that 75 basis points ain't out of the question. And even there's an outside chance at a full percentage point hike. It's going to be a very ugly week in the market, guys. So can't tell you what to do with your money. That's up to you. But remember this, your financial professional doesn't necessarily have your best interest in mind. He wants to keep money under management, even though it loses money. Trust me, been there. Okay, I know that's the mantra of the firms. You know, part of the reason why I didn't particularly care for the industry. But yes, that is something to pay attention to, you know, because everybody who asks me all the time, you know, months ago, gee, would it make sense to take out my money and pay the 10% penalty? Well, and my answer was, what are you going to do when the market's gone down 10%? Yeah, we're pretty much there easily. So, your decision to make, but I just hope you're not a day late and a dollar short. Enjoy the rest of your hot day. Pinball out.